Welcome,
Great.
everyone, to our first featured Cornell University Forbes 30 Under 30. I am here with the Ally Tam, class of 2013. Ally, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Okay, first, let's start off. Congratulations. This is amazing.
Thanks.
By the way, where were you when you found out? I know that some of this stuff is pre-announced, or where were you?
I was in my apartment. I got an email first thing in the morning. It was a wonderful, wonderful day to kick off. And then all the emails and text messages started flowing in very, very quickly. And obviously I have a lot of friends, colleagues in venture who also made the list. So we all just got together and it was awesome celebrating.
Well, I think it's really exciting. And before we go into the specifics of how this all came to be, I want to go back. If you will, can you maybe share with some of our listeners here some of the specific experiences that you had back at Cornell and kind of how it led to this? Because everyone has a different path from when they were at school to how they matriculate into the world. So share some of those Cornell experiences for us, and I think that would be great.
Of course. So I graduated 2013. I majored in sociology, which is in the arts and sciences college. I think a lot of people, when they elect sociology, they do it out of passion for the discipline, maybe with the degree when you graduate. I was very fortunate because while I was part of the Cornell sociology department, they started creating this concentration called the business networks and institution concentration within sociology, which was more business focused. I didn't really know what I wanted to do after graduation, but I felt like that was a great way to concentrate my academics. I loved my time in sociology. It was a really, really small department. I think we graduated 70 kids in 2013. So once I started focusing my academics around business, I took some AIM classes, finance, financial accounting, and then joined a couple organizations, which I think were extremely beneficial for me as a student and then ultimately in my career after graduating. So I joined first a business fraternity called AKSI.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was such a great learning experience. I met incredible people. They put you through sort of this boot camp where you go through and interview 30 of the other students, and that pure repetition just gets you into a habit so that once you go and actually have a real career interview, you've done it so many times, you know how to talk about your story, you can tell everyone why you chose your major and why you're interested in this job. It was a really, really great opportunity, especially coming from a more qualitative background in sociology. The second business organization I joined was called Cornell Consulting Group, which allowed me to apply a little bit more of these tangible skills around analytics and deep research dives, some things that you actually would learn in a sociology background, but some things that you might have to pick up on the quantitative side. So between those two, I eventually ended up, in the finance track after meeting with a ton of different people from different backgrounds. A lot of seniors had just come back from their summer internships. I wanted to pursue a career at an investment bank to really build up with 2 years a very disciplined program to come out of that analyst program saying, like, I have the skills to go on and do whatever I want. I think that's a great place to start for any graduate. I would highly recommend it. So I graduated and then went to Morgan Stanley right out of college.
Gotcha. We are live and we're getting questions as they fly in here. So I'm going to read this. This one's from Anna Karen Deng, class of 2014. And she asked, can you describe the steps or positions in your career you took that were most significant in getting you to your role as principal and why they were significant?
Sure. So my 2-year analyst program at Morgan Stanley, I was very deliberate. I wanted to cover technology. I had a personal passion in it. I grew up in San Francisco, and then I eventually moved down to Cupertino, which is where the headquarters of Apple was. So it's been a community and a topic that I've been embedded in since I was a child. When I got to Morgan Stanley, I gunned for the TMT team, which Morgan Stanley is, renowned for. So I started off in the semiconductors team. When there was an opportunity on the consumer internet team, I jumped at it. I spent a I spent a year on that team before the opening on the consumer hardware team was available, which is covering Apple and Fitbit, which I thought was a perfect way to round out my skill set. So I ended up spending 3 years at Morgan Stanley building up the institutional knowledge around technology, as well as the financial skill sets to go on and do deeper analysis. I decided that I wanted to become an investor. In equity research at Morgan Stanley, you are essentially advisors to investors who have the capital to, make an actual call on a stock. We support those individuals with research and analysis to allow them to make the most informed decision. And it tends to be in the form of a stock recommendation. So go out and buy Facebook at this price. After doing all that research, I decided, hey, I want to actually go and be an investor. And after many conversations from friends and colleagues, it was very clear that what I wanted to do was early stage investing, which in other words is venture capital. I interviewed, but actually it just so happens that the person who put me in my seat today at 14W was a Cornell alum. She was a friend. She was a friend class of 2012 from AK Psi, and so really that business fraternity paid off, and the connections there. So I ended up here at 14W. I started off as an associate, and I just worked really hard to cultivate a great relationship with the partners. They were taking me under their wing, going to board meetings. I sat there in the shadow and listened, which is a great learning experience. I did everything I could to help portfolio companies in whatever way they needed. So I told them, just treat me like an extra employee of your company and I'll do whatever I actually can. Sometimes that meant running around and finding connections for them. Sometimes it meant doing a deep marketing analysis for them. And through that hard work, I think when one of the partners left our firm, they just immediately promoted me to principal and gave me all the responsibilities. I think it was right place, right time as well.
Awesome. We got one more question and they're flying in here, so it's making my life a lot easier here. This comes from Lily Zhao from class of 18. Hi, Ally. My name is Lily. Thanks for speaking today and congrats on making the Forbes 30 under 30. As a hotel school graduate, I'm very interested in consumer companies, but I've found that there doesn't seem to be a lot of non-tech VC firms. I was wondering if you have any advice for people who want to enter the consumer company venture capital space and how your experience in TMT equity research helped prepare you for the current work. So I think you covered some of that, but talk about the non-tech VC space and your thoughts about that.
For sure. The nice thing is, based on recent industry movements and trends, there's more interest amongst, call it the generalist venture capital firms, the big multi-billion-dollar firms moving into this consumer category. So we had the Jet exit to Walmart. We had the Dollar Shave Club exit, $1 billion exit, and more recently Stadium Goods, which was bought by Farfetch.
That's a big range there. That's a lot of range for the types of companies you're dealing with. Pretty impressive.
For sure.
Yeah.
So the nice thing is many firms are starting to build out a consumer practice. They're young, probably no more than 2 years old and no more than 3 people in a larger firm of about 40. But there is real momentum behind this style of, or this vertical of investing. So I would say don't give up. Just to name off a few, NEA here in New York City has a great consumer team. We work very closely with them. Lightspeed out of San Francisco has a consumer team. They're also incredible. There are firms in Europe that I actually think do this tremendously well. Felix Capital, I respect that team highly. They're based in London. These opportunities are actually they're there. You just really have to dive deep. The one thing I would recommend you do is look at the companies in the startup community that you think are exciting. Take a look at what investors are on their cap table, and then go from there. You'll find that most of them actually have a generalist practice and then specifically have been focusing more on consumer.
While we have this short time here, I would love to ask you, Ally, what you're most excited for next. What are you thinking about? Because here's the thing, here you have this great unbelievable award given to you, and obviously changes in business and things are happening so quickly. Like the 5-year plan is literally 5-minute plans these days with technology.
Yeah.
Where do you see, because this obviously is a passion of yours, where would you like to take it to the next level?
I think a lot of people are aware that venture is a long-term game. The feedback loop is, we're talking decades. You're not going to know if a company that you've been working on is the next billion-dollar business for a while. So what I love about this job is that I'm just constantly asked to learn. I learn about new industries, do deep dives. Recently, I've been very, very excited about the insurance space and financial institutions, and how bringing a consumer digital product to that world will change the way people interact with a product that has traditionally been very unsexy, a little confusing. No one really knows what insurance covers, why you have it, but you have to have it. And I think the same.
The older you get, the more you learn about this, by the way.
Yes,
Just
I'm
saying,
sure.
yes.
But you always learn about it in a reactionary way. If you can empower consumers to be more proactive about things like insurance, and also another trend for us is healthcare. If you can empower consumers with a digital product that allows them to take ownership of their health data, take ownership of their lives, and be more proactive about the decisions that you're making that impact your health every day, we can actually fundamentally change the way people live and take care of themselves. And healthcare no longer becomes, hey, I've got a symptom, please treat it. It's like, hey, this is my life, please take it holistically and tell me what I need to change it, like on a habit level, on a diet level. So really, for me, the two major categories I'm very excited about are insure and fintech, and healthcare.
That's awesome. I was going to just give this part of it. I always joke about these amazing awards are great, but yet they're always launch pads. And I guess for you personally, as a Cornellian, as now this Forbes 30 for 30, tell me the sense of pride that you felt with it. I know you were excited, but what it meant to you personally. As we wrap up our little quick time here together, I want to hear what it really meant to you.
I think, I was very humbled by the signal that it meant from the larger community, because the judges are investors that I really, really respect. I respect the colleagues that I share the list with immensely. It was just a tremendous honor. And I also thank the entrepreneurs that I've worked with, because they're, at the end of the day, your biggest advocates. So, and I get to do that every day, so it's incredible. And then for Cornell, I hope it's a kind of signal to the larger community that majoring in something like sociology, it's a small department, you can do a lot with that degree. I actually think the arts and science discipline is an incredible background to have going into venture, because it's extremely analytical, but you're encouraged to do these deep dives into industries and think more qualitatively. And that's what I did every day for 4 years at Cornell as a sociology major. So between the two, I think those are kind of what I've been feeling.
All right. So we're going to have to give a takeaway thing here for all the listeners here.
Okay.
Thing you miss most about Cornell?
Wow.
And I know it's the weather. No.
It is. Oh. I just had my 5-year reunion back in June, and it was just magical to be back on campus. I miss the classes. I really do. I think I miss being in an environment where every day you're encouraged to learn. Again, because the sociology department was small, we had really, really great teacher to student ratios. So engaging in the debate every day about a topic, that was awesome. I miss the libraries. I know that's really nerdy of me to say, but I think the Cornell libraries are beautiful. They're such a great space that encourages you to buckle down and read. I miss that environment where you have time to actually do things like that.
Ally Tam, congratulations for being a Forbes 30 for 30. It's been a pleasure. You did a great job here, and best of luck to you.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
You got it.